welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. So we have something a little bit different today. I've done something similar before, but it's a nice change from the unboxing of the Pokemon cards. So it's still an unboxing, but today is from, there we go, Stitch and Story. So if you're not familiar with Stitch and Story, there are two, oh my goodness, I've forgotten their names. I think they're Liz's. Anyway, so the owners of Stitch and Story basically specialize in craft stuff. So similar to Wool and the Gang, they have sets for knitting for beginners, intermediate, completely up to you, lots of different choices, and there's actually quite a lot of patterns online as well. So this is actually my second purchase from them. Before I did a video showing you guys, I got this incredible wool from them. There we go. So it's that Homestead yarn. The colours are amazing. I got the green one. I can't remember if they call it sage or forest. It's like a cross between. I actually have quite a few places where I can happily get my wool from. So I also looked up the Homestead yarn because there were similar ones from other sites, but I couldn't actually find them. But what I did find was this. Okay, it's really not clear. So basically, TK Maxx actually has some sets and some balls from Wool and the Gang, and oh my goodness, they've got this gorgeous, they call it a red maple color, and look at the price. I am very happy to have gone to Stitch and Story first so I could test their things to see if it's something I like and now I can use in the future. But honestly, now I've seen that TK Maxx has the same wool for literally, I could say half the price, but actually has the discount here for 62% less. I think I'll try it out, but I really do love that maple color. It looks more like an autumn color, like a burnt orange. But the interesting thing is I actually did like that color on Stitch and Story, but then I decided to go for the green because it's just a shade of green that was so nice I couldn't actually leave it. But anyways, moving on to the unboxing. So what I ordered this time, so I'm just looking at my invoice and it's kind of messed up, but basically I ordered a stripy baby blanket set. They had lots of different colors, so I opted for the bright white, royal blue and sherbet yellow combination. Let me see if I can show you how that looks. Okay, so I found it. So this is the bright white, royal blue, and oh no, it was sherbet yellow. I'm looking at the wrong one. Good thing I didn't show you guys. So I decided to go for this one. The colors are really nice. The color's really nice. I couldn't choose between that and this one. So naturally, being indecisive, had to ask for some help. So that's going to be really fun because the blankets I made in the past, I pretty much just winged them. And by that I mean, of course, I follow the gauge that is on the sleeve, but I just kind of play around with it. Can't show you right now. I can try and reach it. Try being the keyword. Okay. Pardon the bag, but the most recent one I did was a checked blanket, baby blanket. It was for somebody, but won't go into that. Yeah, so let me show you what I've got in my box. Okay. So we've got so the good thing about this set is you can actually get it with needles or without, but the prices are exactly the same. So you may as well just get the utensils. If you're like a seasoned knitter, you probably wouldn't even need the needles. I know you might have your preference, so I've literally got quite a few different types of needles material wise. I've got metal, I've got wood, I've got plastic, and metal is actually my favorite, but I don't really have big metal ones. When it comes to the really chunky knitting needles, though, like the 25mm that I use for my really like thick wool, wood seems to be the popular option, so I just kind of grit my teeth and I work with it. But anyways, so we get our nice Stitch and Story leaflet, just thanking you for your purchase, and it talks you through the different types. We've got beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate, experienced, and expert. I wish maybe in a couple years time, but not for the moment. I think I'm around here area, because I know enough of the techniques. So for instance, I haven't done the moss stitch. I really like the stockinette stitch, and I'm confident with rib stitch. I would like to do the moss or the seed stitch, but I haven't really come across any patterns that I'm doing yet that warrants it, but in time. I think I can happily say that I'm like an advanced, was it? No, intermediate. Yeah, I think I'll be able to say that I'm intermediate or like experienced once I actually mastered the art of the cable stitch. But I've got the stuff for it. I've got the cable knit needle holder, but I haven't actually used it yet, so who knows, maybe this will be the year. Okay, that's everything. So we've got our set. There you go. It's a pretty little box like this, and we have the tag that has the equipment. So in this one, it's the stripy blanket. There you go, stripy baby blanket. This isn't my color, that's just the one that they've got online, but different types. So mine's got yellow and blue. You can actually see some of my wool in here. Okay, so the kit comes with needles, yarn, instructions and online tutorials. Oh yeah, another thing which was really nice, they actually had this promotion. So when, I think I had to spend a certain amount, I didn't quite remember, but when I ordered this, they actually gave you a free PDF of a bow pom-pom, which is really cute. So I just downloaded that, so I've got it on the go. So I can totally add that on either to my blanket if I want to be adventurous. If not, it can be a cute little accessory for when I do actually gift or sell on this blanket. Okay, so this comes with, so you get 3 different colors for the stripes, and you get 2 balls of each. You have your knitting needles. They recommend 8mm needles, and oh, okay, so it's a wooden one. It's bamboo needles. Don't think I've got bamboo. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it's nice and smooth. A sewing needle, thank goodness. Sewing or like a darning needle to basically weave in those loose ends, unless you want to use a crochet hook. With stripy patterns, you will definitely have a lot more wispy ends than you would do with one colour. Simple to follow pattern and how to knit. So guess you can call it, I wouldn't call it beginner just because of the type of knit we'll be doing. It almost looks like moss stitch or seed stitch, whichever, American, English, whatever you want to go for. So let me open it and see what we've got. Oh my goodness, okay, that's nice. Saves me having to butcher the bag, so I can actually save it and keep my equipment in there. Okay, first things first, we've got our 8mm knitting needles. Oh, they're bent. That's fine. Well, it's fine. Honestly, bent needles isn't really going to affect your pattern too much, or at all rather. Most times they're straight, but other times not so much. So I've only ever bent 1 pair of needles because it was a really like soft plastic, and I didn't know until I kind of squished it between my body and the sofa, and I was like, why has it suddenly got a curve? But it still works the same, so it's fine. Okay, I think that's everything. Okay, so we have 6 balls of wool. So here we have the, oh my goodness, oh, it's falling apart. Okay, let me tuck this in. So here we have the, oh my goodness, it's falling all over the place. But we have the bright white. Actually, you can see the thickness there. So it's relatively thin. Material, there we go, relatively thin. The material is great. It's actually, let me see. So it's that little merino style. So this is merino wool. How much? It's 100% merino wool, which is great because you can use acrylic and cotton for babies, but merino wool is actually really soft, so it's definitely the best option, especially if it's going to go like directly onto baby skin. So if you knit a pair of pants, or even like even a jumper or a cardigan, to be honest, because if baby has no sleeves or short sleeves, you will still have that contact. So it's nice to use that nice soft wool. But really, I think the best tip that I had read is if you take any type of wool and you just rub it against, yeah, even your face. So if you just rub it against your skin, if it causes some kind of irritation, then you shouldn't use it for baby clothes. If it doesn't, then you're basically good to go. So that's basically my bread and butter, in a manner of speaking. Now we have, it's super fine. Sorry, so this wool is apparently super fine. The bright white didn't say that, but yeah. So now we've got the royal blue colour. I love these colours, they just look so well together. And then lastly, we have the yellow. There you go, so the bright yellow. So they're all little merino. Let me try and balance them so you can see. So this is going to be our colour swatch for our baby blanket. So once I get started with that, I will record my progress and then make a video of it later down the line. Okay, so the last thing here is your easy to follow knit pattern. There you go. So let's see just how easy it is to follow. How do they describe it? They don't, but they do encourage before you start your project to practice. So that basically be your tension swatch. Good knitters do it. Some, like me, unless it's a completely new thing I haven't done. So for instance, this is a moss stitch, so I'll probably do my tension swatch, to be honest, my tension gauge. But yeah, you should do that just so you're used to knitting with the different types of wool, and so you know what the tension should be, so how tight you should be holding your wool, how it comes out, the works. Okay, so just looking at this, so it's a big old leaflet. There you go. Okay, right, so it's got your abbreviations. There you go. So CO is to cast on. It'll tell you however many stitches you need to cast on at the beginning. It's kind of depends on context, because CO can also be used for casting off, but then it'll usually explicitly say cast off. But also the cast on always goes at the beginning of your pattern, or if you're making a jumper, for example, and you're doing different pieces, you'll have to cast off certain bits, and then it'll tell you, okay, cast on new however many stitches. So knit 1 stitch, purl 1 stitch. That's definitely going to be the going thing for this moss stitch. So it's got a tension to help you work out your tension gauge. So 14 stitches. So you cast on 14 stitches, and if you knit for 20 rows, that should give you a panel of 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. What else to tell you guys? Okay. So your 3 colors will be color A, B, or C. So you basically decide which one you want to start with. Because I don't really do well with a lot of choice, I'll probably use this as my go-to. So it's almost like an ombre, whatever to call it, that kind of effect. So light, middle, dark, light, middle, dark. So I'd probably start with my white. Oh my goodness, what next? Okay, then my yellow. Can you see? No, you can't quite see. And then my blue. So I basically do it like that. Right, then basically tells you how to change your color. They always suggest that you add colors at the start of your, actually at the start of a row. So basically here, it tells you the best thing to do is to tie it onto the end. And so these ends, you'll use your darning needle, which is in here somewhere, or your sewing needle, they call it, to basically weave those where they should be, because I didn't actually see crochet hooks being added to the set, but that's totally fine. I don't think there's anything else to tell you guys, but there's also a how to knit, a basic guide, which if I just kind of flick through, oh my goodness, I thought it's gonna be a nice little booklet, not a gigantic leaflet. Okay, it's not gigantic, but still. So you start off with a slip knot that goes onto your needle, and then from there you cast on your stitches. So it basically tells you the step by step, which is great. Oh, did you look at that? It's double-sided. Amazing. knit stitch, purl stitch, so basic stuff. It tells you how to decrease, which is basically knitting two together. Depends though if you're doing right leaning or left leaning, stuff that you don't really need to know, but this is literally basics. So as long as you got the basics, you're good to go. It tells you how to increase as well. Oh, how nice, it's got numbers, which is even better. Okay, so how to change your color or add a new ball of yarn. Typically when you're adding a new ball of yarn, similar to changing color like I just showed you, they do encourage you to start at the beginning of your row, but honestly speaking, this heifer likes to use as much wool as she can, so I tend to do it in the middle. But it's definitely better to do it at the beginning of a row. It tells you how to sew your work. I should probably look at that, because I'm used to doing it vertically, horizontally not so much. So this is actually going to be really handy for me as well. See, I told you guys I wasn't like intermediate, advanced beginner. And so binding or binding off is basically the same as casting off, just to let you all know. And there are slip stitches, but that is for specific patterns, so I'm not going to share that. Okay, so now this is the end of my unboxing, so I'm going to have so much fun trying to make a blanket, moss stitch style, which is great because it's something I haven't done before, so I can kind of check another technique off my list, my imaginary list, but all the same, which just makes me a better knitter and will help me make more interesting patterns and things to post to my hobby account and to eventually sell. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and keep an eye out for my other videos that will be entitled Stitch a Story Baby Blanket or Stripe Blanket, or how my blanket project is going. But do keep an eye out, like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, just to stay in the loop and up to date. I'm used to doing my bloopers and stuff, so I might even share things that go wrong if they do. Hopefully they don't, but it's something new for me to conquer, and I'm human, so it will probably happen all the same. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, guys, and take care. Bye.